In this week's episode of NDVision.
That's our retirement home. You know, maybe in a few years in winters, if they get worse, we'll go to Florida and rent a place for a month or two. You know, literally a cannonball. No,
So you definitely can't feel how heavy this is if you haven't done it, but it's a solid 5 pound.
Yeah.
How do you have the weight on them?
I think they're 28 ounces.
28 ounces. Okay.
So
I'm terrible at math, so I can't do that into pounds, but. Hello and welcome to this episode of NDVision. I'm joined here by Brian Cannon. Brian, are you the head of the AOH currently?
I am not. Pat Doherty is our current 2024 president. He succeeded my son Matt, who was our president the last 4 years. So I'm the recording secretary.
Okay.
One of the charter members, and
So you know everything though, if you're the secretary. Everything, all the ins and the outs.
True, and I've been involved with it from the start when Jerome Hart first organized this in 2012. So we got a good group of guys. We have about 45, 46 members. Probably half of those are really active.
Yep.
But we have some really good guys. Tim O'Grady, our local police chief, Senate. My son Matthew, Tim O'Grady's sons. We have a couple generations of members, with sons and so forth. And Tom O'Grady, who I think taught you art at SIO.
Yeah.
Tom was one of our charter members.
He was my elementary school principal.
Yeah, he would still teach you art if you wanted. He was really great, right? So he was a great member and always gave us a lot of good sage advice. Charlie Joyce is a member, Mike Jackson, these are all familiar names. Of course, Pat Doherty from Andover, he's been president now the second term. He was president after I was president in 2014. We just have a really good group. Mike McCullough, we got guys from all over. Bruce Harrington from Belfast. We have a couple members, Kevin Daly from Buffalo. He's the sales director of Try It Distributing. Get it, a beer distributor, an Irish function, so go figure, right? But he comes down to the meetings and he helps support us in all our events, including the Shortest Parade and road bowling and the car show. But we just have a lot of great members. Kevin Schreiner, he's, I think, president of the Emeralds Fire Company here in Wellsville. So a lot of active guys. They spend a lot of time volunteering. We try to raise money for some good causes and promote our Irish heritage and culture in Allegany County.
Well, I do want to get more into the AOH and a lot of the events that you put on. But first, I like to ask every guest just to tell me about yourself. Who is Brian Cannon?
Okay. Well, if you Google it, there's a real comedian. He seems to get all the stuff and you do that. I never heard him. Someday I'll have to do that. But no, I'm an Andover lad. Grew up in Andover, New York, just down the road from Wellsville, the big city of Wellsville. Graduated there in 73. We had a great class. As back when classes were like 45, 50 kids, right? Now they're graduating half that. But got great education. We had great teachers. They'd been there forever. Played sports, played basketball. We were county champs then. It was only the fourth time Andover won a county championship.
Really?
Yeah, in 73. We had some really good players there, so that was really good.
Now, were you in school with Stephen Walker?
Steve Walker is 2 years behind me.
2 years behind
Walker
you. Okay.
Metalsmiths.
Yep.
And Steve's going to be piping in our parade, and he supports our car show and everything else. And Steve, we all owe it to mentors. Mentors are important in life on anything, any business you get in or any hobby or whatever. But Scotty McRae was our art teacher up there, and he got everybody interested in their heritage. Of course, he was Scottish heritage, and the Scotch came over to Ireland to populate the island, right? So if you're Irish, you're probably got a little bit of Scotch in you as well. And so Scotty got us all thinking about where do you come from, right? Where does everybody come from?
Right.
Whether it's Eastern Europe, Asia, South America, Ireland, England, Scotland, wherever. So at an early age, we got exposed to that through Scotty, right? And he taught us art, taught us everything. Al Barden, our shop teacher, he was instrumental as well. They both taught us, don't waste something, make your mistakes into something. Whether it's in wood or drawing or whatever. So I tell my grandkids that they make a mistake drawing, they love to draw. Just make it into something. Right?
It was like the Bob Ross of woodworking then.
Yeah, really.
Happy little trees, happy little mistakes.
Absolutely. Nothing's perfect, right? So each is your own thing. So growing up in Andover, it was a really good time. None of us realized it then, probably, right?
Yep.
There was no internet, all of that. So if we wanted to play basketball, we went over to McMichael's house. McMichael's boys, Jim works at the lab here. They had a really nice court. That's how we all played and practiced. Or we get a key to the gym, right, from Al Barden or one of the teachers. Today you couldn't do that, right, with insurance. And they're worried about somebody blowing the school up or whatever. But so it was a good time. There's lots of things to do. And if you got out of line in Andover, everybody knew your parents, right? right? So they would, if Brian got in trouble, they'd call John and Elaine Cannon and let him know, right?
Right.
So
I think that's still the case. That's one of the best things about growing up in a small area is that everybody does know everybody.
Yep.
It's also not one of the best things about growing up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's a blessing and a curse.
That's true. So a great town to grow up in. There was a lot more businesses then. You had Joyce Western. There was a predecessor of Certified Traffic Control. Christine Joyce was in my class.
Yeah.
She started CTC. She's a really, really sharp gal. Has a great company there. But you had Bulk Tainers, you had Agway and all that. A lot of those businesses have gone by the wayside, right? So then you have the Otis Easterns, you had Preheater. When I graduated from Alfred University in 77, went to work at Air Preheater, and that's how I got involved selling and marketing air pollution control equipment, which I still do today.
You're in marketing.
So I started out in marketing, so I head up to sales, right? So before you can sell, you have to market, right?
Yep.
People have to know your product service, whether it's a lemonade stand or, in my case, RTO thermal oxidizers. They destroy solvents and fumes from paint lines and printing plants and all of that. So I've been pretty lucky. I had great mentors and coworkers at Air Preheater. Learned a lot. One of my coworkers, Jack Preston, started AdWest Technologies out in California. Got tired of these Western New York winters. Jack was from Cuba. He had to go out for service for Air Preheater, and his wife went with him. And there's a blizzard, I guess, couldn't get back into Buffalo. It was back in like 87. And she says, Jack, I just applied. I tripled my salary. I'm going to be an emergency room nurse at the Corona, California hospital.
Yeah.
So I'm living here. I don't know about you, but you better go back, resign, and come back out. So Jack ended up transferring him to the Santa Ana office. And then he started a year later, started AdWest selling small air abatement systems. And then I joined them in 92.
Okay.
Working out of my home, and we had high-speed internet thanks to John Regas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Philadelphia. Most people did not have that, even in the big cities. So it was rare. People said, well, what do you do? Where do you work? I said, well, I work out of my home. For AdWest. How do you work out of your home? How's that working? And, of course, it worked well because you don't have all these meetings to go to.
Right.
But no, I had a great experience at Air Preheater, great people, great products. They've gone through a lot of changes like all the businesses. They were the second largest employer in town. Turbidyne.
It's Youngstrom now, right?
It's Youngstrom, Arvos Youngstrom, I believe, or just Youngstrom. But a lot of history there. Great company. Hope they stay there forever. Hope they thrive. They're doing a lot with wind turbines and all of that with the supports. But back then, they were only the second biggest. Dresser, Rand, Turbidyne. They employed about twice as many people in shop and office.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and now they're no longer there. So Wellsville's taken some hits, and with everything is cyclical with the economy, right? But Allegany County, it's a great place to live. It was great growing up in Andover. It was great after Marley and I got married in 1980. We raised our kids here. They went to Wellsville High School, played sports, all of that. Matt and Ian. Matt wanted to come back, raise his two boys here. There's Leo and John. They're in 4th and 1st grade here at Wellsville. The class sizes are a lot smaller than when they went to school.
Yeah.
But they get a great education. They get to participate, basketball, soccer.
Yeah.
We take John to hockey Saturday mornings over Olean to the ice rink. He's a hockey guy. So, at 6 years old. So there's just a lot of things to do here. A lot of people think it's, Andy and Mayberry, right? But there is a lot to do here in Allegany County.
There is. It's definitely an outdoor county for sure. Oh, that's why it was rebranded the Western New York Wilds. So you're just homegrown, been here, and no plans on leaving.
No. Marley and I bought a house, a property over at Amity Lake. We've been there 8 years. Our son Matthew moved back, bought our house up on Trapping Brook Road here in Wellsville. So that's our retirement home. Maybe in a few years in winters, if they get worse, we'll go to Florida and rent a place for a month or two.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit warmer. But this has been a warm winter here, right? We had 70-degree weather in February.
It's been an insane warm winter, which is a little unnerving for me. I'm a big trout fisherman. Yeah. And the trout fishing hasn't been great. Lately. It's weird. It's been super weird.
Yeah, and skiing. Our boys all ski. They go to Swain, and of course Swain's they make snow, but it's been a tough year for them. I think, and all of them, Holiday Valley, whatever.
I filmed at two of the top resorts in the state, Bel Air and Wyndham, and everybody's just struggling. The poor ski resorts, the past few years, they've all been hit really hard.
Oh, they have?
Just because, there's just not a lot of snow. At least last year was colder, so they were able to make it more, but...
Oh, I know.
This year's been rough.
Mother Nature rules if you own a ski resort, right?
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me about the the AOH here. What? I guess I still don't know exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure it stands for Ancient Order of Hibernians, right?
Hibernians.
Hibernians.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And is that just a local thing? Is it nationwide? Is it global? Give me some details.
It started nationally here in the United States in 1836.
Okay.
Ancient Order of Hibernians. And some of this is, I'll probably be off a little bit on the dates, but about then was the Great Famine in Ireland, right? The potato famine, the potato crops failed. There was massive hunger, lots of people dying, thousands of people. And so people had to leave the island. They emigrated to the United States.
Yep.
A lot of them went to Canada as well and other parts of the world. Australia, there's a big Irish population emigrated to Australia.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Actually, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
quite a cultural and climate difference there from Ireland to
It
Australia.
is. Well, it's a little warmer, so I think they all like it there.
Yeah,
right?
a lot warmer, I feel.
Because
right?
it can rain a lot in
The
Ireland.
sun's out all the time.
It is. So the AOH was formed in New York City and near Scranton, Pennsylvania, by Irish Catholics to protect the Irish priests because there was a lot of, at that point, Americans that didn't like the Irish, I guess, because they were the new immigrants, right? And they did all the labor to make the railroads, the Erie Railroad, all of that was built with an awful lot of Irish immigrant labor. So they had to protect the church. They would literally stand guard at the church or the church house where the priest slept so that those houses and churches didn't get burned down in the middle of the night.
Really?
Really, yeah. That's how it formed. And then
So it's like the Irish CIA then, kind of.
well,
Secret Service there.
well, in a way, but they were there to protect the church and the infrastructure of the church, and so, and then as times got a little more saner here in the States and Irish Catholics got accepted into society, it became a service organization, right? So we still do a lot of stuff for the local Catholic churches as well as the rest of them here in Allegany County. Our division is local. It is the Allegany County. I think there are approximately 36 AOH divisions in New York State, mainly broken down by counties. You're going to see a bunch of divisions like in Suffolk County down on Long Island, in New York City. Albany's got, I think, 3 or 4 divisions. Buffalo has a couple. And that's where the big Irish populations are.
Yeah.
Here in Allegany County, probably about 40 to 45% of the population has some Irish roots to it.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of the Irish people, and you can see this with whether you're Polish, French, whatever, when you came together, a lot of those nationalities would emigrate to the same areas, right? So you had a lot of people from County Mayo and Galway and Cork and whatever, they would come to Allegany County, right? And then if any of their relatives after that came over, they would come to the same area. So you'd see pockets of Irish Americans wherever.
I'm trying to remember the area in New York. It's in the Catskills, but they have a big Irish festival every year, and it maybe you've been there. They have the
East Durham.
East Durham. Thank you so much.
East Durham.
I've filmed out there for tourism, and they have the biggest map of Ireland, I think, in the country. Right?
They do.
I have a drone shot of that if you want it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think they have Gavin's Resort and Hotel there, right?
There's a ton of just Irish resorts out there.
Yep.
And then that's where I've had my first ever full Irish breakfast with black and white pudding, soda bread, beans, eggs, bacon. It was a lot. But it was delicious.
It's a great
and an egg, or not an egg, a tomato.
Yep.
It was like a random.
They usually have the cooked tomatoes. And you'll see that when you go to Ireland too. Most hotels have a full Irish breakfast there.
I love black pudding, or blood sausage is basically what it is. But I'm half Puerto Rican, and the rest of me pretty much is Irish. So I'm an Irish Puerto Rican.
There you go. There you go.
That's why I have the last name Davis. Because my mom gave it to me to keep the line going. So my son and I are the last remaining male Davises in our line.
Awesome. Well, Davis is an Irish name.
Yep. So my dad's last name, though, is Montalvo.
Okay.
So my mom gave me her maiden name, like I said, to carry on the line.
Awesome.
Or the name.
Awesome.
But what now? So you essentially were protectors of the church, and now you said that you're a service organization. What sorts of things do you do? for the community.
Okay, so just to give you a little history here in Allegany County, we did not have any AOH divisions. There's one in Olean, in Cattaraugus County. There's one in Steuben, based in Hornell. And Steuben has about 100 members. I think Olean's got about 50 or 60 like we do. But Hornell, Jerome Hart, who passed away a couple years ago, Jerome was instrumental, right? He was very aware of his Irish heritage, and his wife Nancy runs the Irish shop down on Main Street at the north end of our parade route, right?
I just saw her.
Yes. So Jerome got the Hornell guys over, and in 2012 started the Allegheny County division. Jerome was our first president.
Okay.
One of the
what was the year?
2012.
2012. Okay.
2012.
Oh, wow. So this is quite new then.
We're in our 13th year right now, so we're fairly new. So obviously we're trying to be like, Wellsville's always had a strong Lions Club. They've had Kiwanis, they've had Rotary. Some of our members, like John Emser, have belonged to all of them and participate. And they do a lot of service-oriented type activities and fundraisers, right? And they make donations to a lot of worthy causes here in Allegheny County and the Wellsville area. So that's what we wanted to do as well. So it's tough when you first start out, because what are you going to do for fundraisers, right? So initially you hold a few raffles around St. Patrick's Day. You make a little bit of money there. And of course we had to buy a parade banner and things like that, because we do march in the Memorial Day parade here in Wellsville, and we've been in other parades, and we go up to Hornell and march in their parade. We'll talk a little bit more about the shortest parade here and a little bit of how that came about. But so for fundraisers, we started out beanbag tournaments held at the Legion and other venues. And then in 2013, we decided we were doing a food drive on one of the Wellsville home basketball games, where everybody got in free if they brought some canned goods.
Okay.
Benny Miles was the AD then, and he thought it was a great idea, and we packed the gym, and we had like 5 giant boxes we were able to give Jim Campbell at the food pantry here, right, for the needy.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
And that's Catholic Charities, right?
Catholic Charities, Joyce, it's the old Elmhurst just down the street.
Right.
And they do an awesome job too. But so we started doing that. So Mike Hennessy, one of our members, he's the Veterans Outreach Director over in Belmont for the VA. We had seen some articles on road bowling. We were talking about that, and he's saying, "We got to do this." And I say, "Yeah, Mike, we ought to." I was president. I say, "Yeah, we ought to do this."
Yeah.
So we were thinking of a venue. Where do you have a 1.5 mile course, give or take, for road bowling, right? That's not on a main road where you don't want people hurt or run over and accidents and everything else.
Sure.
So being from Andover, one of the first things I thought of was Kilbane Road, where the Andover Rod and Gun Club is.
Yep. It's
on the route. I can never remember the route between. You go up Joyce Hill. It's going to Independence on the way to Whitesville, right? So it's sort of in between. But the Four Corners, we always have had our registration right on the corner there. Pat Doherty owns the farm and the land there for that. And then the town of Andover has been really great to let us use the road. It's a perfect road to do it. Hardly any traffic.
Yeah. Just
a couple people living there. And then halfway down is the Andover Rod and Gun Club. So,
perfect halfway point. So
we give them a donation, and we get to have the club for the day. There's restrooms there. We have food vendors usually come in, whatever. And if people want to rest and just watch the bowlers go by, it's a fun venue, and it's sort of straight, but it's very hilly, right? So it's challenging. There's
that last stretch there.
There's some steep drop-offs. You've bowled it, so you know. And so we have metal detectors there, because some of the bowls, and these are the bowls here. It's a 28-ounce, literally a cannonball. No.
So you definitely can't feel how heavy this is if you haven't done it, but it's a solid 5 pound.
Yeah.
How do you have the weight on them?
I think they're 28 ounces.
28 ounces? Okay.
So
I'm terrible at math, so I can't do that into pounds, but
or kilograms or whatever, right? Don't give me in a metric. But so anyway, we decided to have an Irish Road Bowling Western New York Open or Classic tournament. And the first year, I think we had about 34 teams in 2013. And it has just taken off since then. So we've been averaging probably around 70 two-person teams.
Yeah.
And we have 5 categories. We have a men's open, women's open, mixed doubles. We have a senior league for people with maybe experience like me with the gray hair, right? And then we have 16 and under for the kids.
Yeah.
And we give out medals and all of that. So it's like golf, low score wins.
Yeah.
And so if you and you've done this, like if you're at the starting line, I'll go down maybe 100 yards, and you'll take a running start, come up to the line, try to roll it, keep it on the road, and where it goes off the shoulder, that's where you just sort of mark it, and that's the next starting line where I would bowl from, and you go down and mark it, and you sort of leapfrog each other. And right now the course record is 20 throws combined by Shane Dunbar of Wellsville and Mark Joyce of Andover. And those guys are really, really good.
Yeah.
We've had some others that are around 21 or 22, but what helped us get started on this was the West Virginia Road Bowling Association.
Okay.
It started in Ireland, West Virginia. There's a little hamlet like Elm Valley called Ireland, West Virginia.
Oh, really?
And every St. Patrick's Day, they start their road bowling tournament season, and they go to all these different state parks in wild, wonderful West Virginia. But they hold one, whether it's snowing or not, in Ireland, West Virginia. It's about a 1.5 mile course.
Okay.
And then I think the fire department puts on a corned beef and cabbage dinner, and they have raffles and all that stuff. But if you're in Ireland, West Virginia, I mean, it does get much more Irish than that on St. Patrick's Day.
I'm surprised East Durham doesn't have something like this too.
I don't think they have road bowling there.
No, they don't.
There's a couple other AOH divisions that have wanted to do it or tried to do it. I think there's one in Stamford, Connecticut that has one. And there's a couple down in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. But it's a great activity. It's a fun event. It's a family-oriented event. And it gives you a great exercise getting to traverse the 1.5 mile course. And
it really is. I mean, the reason I'm not a big athletic person, and the reason that I like it, because it doesn't take a terrible amount of skill. I mean, there are very skilled people that take it very seriously. I'm not saying that, but if you're just a casual person who wants to have fun, it's very easy to do, right? And it's kind of fun just chucking a cannonball down the road as hard as you can.
Well, it really is, and sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. If it hits a bump in the road, it could bounce and keep going straight, or it bounces right off immediately, and then we have to get the metal detectors because nobody can see it. But it's a lot of fun.
I wish I had my monitor here today. But I looked it up the first year I did it. I looked it up online just to see what it was all about. And there's guys that like wind up like kind of a softball pitch and whip it down. And but they don't really throw it. They'll get their hand really low to the ground and just like whip roll it, kind of like bowling. Irish road bowling.
There's two thoughts. There's less friction if you get it in the air the longest that you can, right? Yeah. Or if you want to settle it down, if you find that sweet spot, you put it right on the road immediately. Yeah. So I've seen both work and I've seen both fail. So there's no rhyme or reason. But Mark Joyce and Shane Dunbar are really masters at this. They've done very, very well. And Melanie Jackson and AJ Young, they in mixed doubles, they're really awesome. And of course, Melanie's a great athlete from Andover, right? And
AJ's a big dude too.
Yeah. So they've only done this a couple times, and they're right there with the scores. So maybe someday they'll be going to wild, wonderful West Virginia with the family. Right? Be in the tournaments.
But you can it's also an event that you can take your kids to, because they're perfect size for kid hands as well. And then you have a tractor going back and forth, right?
John Dean usually drives the tractor. We used to have Jerome Hart's really old one. It wasn't running real well last year, but we have a hay wagon with hay bales on it. So we ferry from the finish line, which is past the Rod and Gun Club, about 1.5 miles from the Four Corners, and stops at the Rod and Gun. If they want to get something to eat or drink or whatever, and then we continues on up to the parking area. So it's just we try to take care of our guests there, right? Yeah, it's pretty informal. We usually have registration from like 8:30 in the morning to 3:30. That's usually when the last teams go on there. It takes about 1.5 hours to but we get really busy between like 11 and 2, it seems. But the course handles it, and everybody gets through. We occasionally they'll lose some bowls. We get the metal detectors out. Pat Doherty and team are out there. Kevin Schreiner with the metal detectors. We have members like Sean Walsh, at one of the owners of the brewery. Yeah, he sets his large tent up for registration. He's up there at 6 a.m. or earlier in the morning. I get up there at 7, right, trying to get the registration stuff together. So he's dedicated every year. Don't even have to ask him. He just says, what date is it? I will be there, right? Yeah. So rain or shine, it's only rained a little bit once the first year, so I don't want to jinx it. Knock on wood. But rain or shine, it's a fun event. It is a family event. You get some exercise, plus you get to see wild, wonderful Allegany County, right? I mean, the view up there is just perfect.
I think it is a family event. So you can be super athletic and really want to win and go about it that way, or you can just go out and just want to have a good time throwing a cannonball down the road.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure that there's coolers that may be along for donation too. Correct?
Well, people have sometimes bring their own coolers with
wheels on them, rolling them down.
Wheels on them with different assorted beverages. And then we have had for donations. There's I think some malted beverages.
Yeah.
That will be there. So,
but it's for everybody.
It is. It is. We've had bowlers as young as 4 years young.
My son.
Yeah, your son and my grandson Leo and John. They've all bowled the last couple of years, and we've had bowlers is experienced because you don't get old; you get more experience at life.
Yeah,
you got to remember that, especially when you get the gray hair. Is that I think the oldest that we've had is around 92.
Wow.
Yeah. So they just want to get out.
Just strain on that shoulder there, though.
And those bowlers generally do very well. So So it's age doesn't hold anybody back.
Yeah, because like you said, it's not necessarily about strength and agility. It's kind of about sometimes luck of the draw.
Or steady she goes, accuracy, all of that, and the luck of the draw of what segment of the road you're in, right?
And if you can find your ball.
Absolutely. So that's a lot of fun. So how this got started in Ireland, they do have a championship for the USA in West Virginia, and they're going to have some qualifiers in May. And Dave Powell down there at the West Virginia Road Bowling Association wants us to send some people down there, some bowlers. So I'm trying to get Mark and Shane Dunbar to go down there because they're most worthy of that. And I think it'd be a great experience for them. But they have the winners from that go to the All Ireland finals, which are usually held in County Armagh in the north, County Mayo, which is where the Cannons come from, in the west, or County Cork in the south.
Okay.
So they rotate the All Irish championships, and there's some really good bowlers there. And the courses there are not so much straight; they are winding,
and they have little wood things alongside, right, to kind of block the.
Well, I don't know if they have the curbs like we have.
Okay.
So if it goes off, you can take like golf. You lose a golf ball, you got to take a stroke penalty, right?
Right.
You set it there. But if you come up with a 90-degree turn, you have the ability, if you're good enough, to aim and throw it over the hedgerow and try to land on the road, or do you take it right to the intersection and go that way? Be safe. So sort of like golf. Right?
Yeah.
Do you hit over the trees, or do you?
It's like 3 different sports in one.
It is. So it's a lot of fun. I would encourage anybody that has not done it to come up the Four Corners this year. It's going to be on June 8th, I believe, on Saturday. So we'll be up there all day. I've only seen people love it. They say, I wish we came up there sooner.
Because it's just fun. It's just fun.
It's fun.
Now, what are the, for this specific event, what do the funds go to from this one?
Well, we don't necessarily appropriate any profits from each event, but it builds our treasury, and then we donate throughout the year.
Okay.
So AOH, our service organization here, as we've had the events, we also have the car show in Island Park. We sort of took over. There was a many-year hiatus from the Custom Express car show.
Okay.
So my son Matt and I and Sean Haggerty, he's another gearhead in the area, likes cars, and Sean's a great mechanic. We thought it would be great to have get the car show started again in Island Park. Great venue, right?
Yeah.
Even if it rains a little bit, you're protected, or if it's sunny, you're not out in the beating sun like you are over in, say, Elm, New York, and some of the other areas. So we thought we'd bring a lot of people into town, and we have done that. So I think we're in our 7th year of that.
And it's gotten bigger, I think, each year.
Oh, it has. Yeah. We've been averaging, I think, about 230, 240 cars and trucks, classic cars, a few motorcycles too. Except this past year we had, I think, only 130 or so because we had a monsoon to deal with.
Right.
Literally a monsoon. It wasn't raining at 7 a.m. when we were there. But shortly after, it started about 9 o'clock, and we were just drenched. I know Tim O'Grady, Mike Jackson, and I were on the front end. We were in raincoats, and we were just totally soaked.
Yeah.
And Tim O'Grady and his team, his sons Keegan and Cavan, did a great job of parking the vehicles in the higher ground areas so the park didn't get chewed up.
Right.
So Shad Allsworth and Town of Wellsville, they've been great in letting us host it there. Even during the pandemic, we hosted the car show. People were socially distanced. We used to have the church used to have the ICS Fun Fair there, right? They had a big chicken barbecue, and they've stopped doing that. Yep. But it's been a great fundraiser for us there as well. And that's the first Saturday after Labor Day. This year, I think it's going to be on the 7th of September. So
Okay.
the park reserved, and if we have some better weather, it'd be a great show. Rain or shine, we hold all our events.
I think that's one of the least utilized and gorgeous areas in Wellsville is Island Park.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, now, well, you have the car show, and I think the Chamber's putting on their brew fest there, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Trout Derby. Trout derbies.
And the Lions Club has always done it,
Yeah.
and that's a great venue for the Trout Derby as well.
Yeah.
So getting back to our, what do we do with the funds that we make profits on after we cover our expenses and so forth? So initially, before we had these fundraisers, we could only donate a little bit here, a little bit there. So we tried to donate to the, say, charities or causes that are a little bit off the beaten path here in Allegany County or are not on the radar. Or they don't get a lot of funding and publicity. So like the Heart Comfort House, my mom was there. They took great care of our family. She passed there 8 years ago. It's a great venue for end of life, right? And
I think someone from there is going to be coming on the podcast to talk about it.
They just do an awesome job.
Yeah.
Dave and Janice Porter started that. Scott Swift was the director. I think Rachel took over for him.
He just stepped down. Right?
Scott still volunteers up there. My wife Marley volunteers up there. Gloria Hammond. There's just a lot of local folks that
Miss
do
Newark.
it. Yep.
Sure.
Yep. Mary Ann's up there, and it's just really great. So we donate to them, and then we started with the food bank here. You know, Charlie Joyce, one of our members, they started the Joyce Family Food Bank at the Elmhurst. The big old Elmhurst here, and
where Burn Dairy used to be. Right?
Yep, Burn Dairy. Yeah, I guess I'm dating
That's what I
myself
think
with the
of when
Elmhurst. There used to be a drive-through. You could actually drive through on the side. It was amazing. But they serve. I think Jim Campbell and his staff do an awesome job with the resources that they have. So last couple of years, we've been able to donate an awful lot, and we give them Save a Lot food cards.
Yeah.
Big donations. They can replenish a lot of their basic foodstuffs, whether it be canned goods, whatever. But they're feeding, I think, around 2,300 individuals, give or take.
Wow.
They started out with just a couple hundred. So they've grown. There's an immense need. And if you think of AOH, and we've all talked about this in our meetings, why did the Irish emigrate here, right? It's because of famine, right?
Yep.
There wasn't any food in Ireland. So they came here. They had to do a lot of menial, hard labor jobs just to eke out a living, but it was better than Ireland. At least they could buy food and provide for themselves.
Yeah.
So here we are again, and most of America still is food challenged. It doesn't matter what race or religion you are. So we think that's great, and Catholic Charities serves pretty much anybody there.
Yeah.
So they do an awesome job. I can't say enough good things about them. So we've tried to do a lot of good things for them with the direct donations, plus having food and can drives, all of that, and to give them exposure. So if you're looking to donate to any needy causes, your audience should get a hold of Jim Campbell and whatever they can help them out, because they just do so much, right? There's always going to be a need for that. We sponsor Wellsville Little League. We donate to that. AOH. We've donated to a lot of individuals that are going through sickness or cancer or need help going back and forth to Strong or to Buffalo. I'm not going to name names, but there's an awful lot of people here locally that need assistance, and we're glad to do it. And so there's just a lot of good things. This past year, like Bruce Harrington, one of our members up in Belfast, he mentioned there's a food pantry up in Fillmore, serves the northern part of the county. We donated to them. There's one in Cuba, New York. We donated one to them because they're underserved there. So we're AOH of Allegany County. We're in, even though most of our members are from the southeastern part. We've got members from Bolivar, of course, Belfast. I'm in Belmont, at Amity Lake.
Yep.
We have members from Scioto. Of course, a lot of them are from Andover, Whitesville, and Wellsville. Okay. But we serve the whole county, so we're trying to do things like that. We've helped one of our members, Tim Colligan, with Shane Colligan Park right down here on the intersection of 19 and Main Street. Okay. We usually have annual cleanup, spruce up sections for the park. The village tries to do an awful lot there, but they're going to need some additional monies for plantings and stuff like that. So it's a nice little green space. A member of Tim's son, Shane, who I'm sure would be one of our charter members, He passed way too young, but another great Irish family, Tim and his family, and his father, Jack, was a village trustee for many years. So we try to do things that help the local area, just make it a better place to live, right? Yeah. And things to do. And we put on 3 events it's one thing to put on an event, just try to take people's money and stuff, right?
Right.
And all this, but when we're here, it gets donated back. The profits get donated back. We actually had 2 scholarships this year, $500 scholarships to Jack Burns and to Kevin O'Grady.
Oh, nice.
They're both in college, both completed their freshman years. So, part of the AOH is trying to fight hunger. They have different national hunger committees. They are big on scholarship, learning about Irish history and all of that. AOH National, I think AOH has chapters or divisions in most of the states. Some of the western states, they just don't have it. But believe it or not, in Montana, there's a whole bunch of AOH divisions.
Okay.
Because a lot of Irish settled there to work in the Anaconda copper mines.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Hard, tough, menial labor, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 1840s.
Yep.
So that's why you have pockets of Irish. They were in Scranton, Pennsylvania because of the anthracite coal mines, right?
Yeah.
So
were they like the 49ers? Is that what that
sort
was?
of, yeah. So anyway, National also has, and they've sponsored, and it became in disrepair. And you've done a lot of traveling, and you have roots in the Philadelphia area. Mm-hmm. My mother is a Phoenixville gal, right, as I mentioned. Met my dad there. He was at Valley Forge Army Hospital. He was all shot up in World War II. He was a bombardier and a B-26. But if it wasn't for his injuries, he would have not met Mom, right?
Right.
She worked at the USO. But the next town down is Valley Forge, where the national park is, and it's a great park. But AOH National has a National Medal of Honor Grove there. It's a nice little exhibit and quiet space that honors all the Medal of Honor winners from the United States. And there's a lot of them. So
yeah.
I haven't been there yet. I plan on going there hopefully this spring or summer.
Okay.
It's awesome. But so our motto is friendship, unity, and Christian charity. That's what AOH is for. So we're here to help people and help charities and just be good servants here in the local area, right? Wherever your AOH division is.
Yeah.
So
before we get into the one of your newest events, by new I mean this is your second annual. Tell me about what does someone have to do if they're interested in becoming a member of the AOH?
You can go on, I think the national website's AOH.org. Locally, they can certainly contact me. It's AOHcanon@gmail.com. We can get them an application. Tim O'Grady is our membership secretary. So you have to be of Irish descent, even if it's a little sliver, and on that, because a lot of people say, well, geez, I just got a little touch of Irish, I'm mostly German or French or whatever. But if you have some Irish in you, that qualifies you, and you have to be a Catholic. Okay. Now, we also have social memberships. They've just started that as well. Mm-hmm. So you still have to be Irish, but... so anyway, just get a hold of us locally or go to AOH.org. I think the New York State Ancient Order of Hibernian website is NYAOH.org. Okay. And there's membership forms online. You can print those out. And, if you're local, I think most people know who I am, and Tim O'Grady, and my son Matt, Kevin Schreiner, Pat Doherty. Just contact us.
Now, is it mainly men? Or can women join, or would they be a social, or what did you call it, a social member? Or
you could become a social member of the AOH. There is the ladies of the AOH, LAOH.
So kind of like a Lion and Lioness.
Right, exactly. Okay. There is not a division here in Allegany County for LAOH. Okay. Marianne Newark, I think everybody knows her. She's taught forever at ICS. Mm-hmm. She belongs to the Hornell LAOH. Okay. And if you go to the Hornell Parade, they will march with the Hornell AOH. They have quite a participation in both divisions. And Hornell sponsors an Irish Cultural Week this next week or so. They'll have Irish movies at the Hornell Cinema for a nominal charge. They have some, like Pat Kane, I think, and his Irish band from Corning, Elmira come over. And they have some stuff at the old St. Anne's School up in Hornell. And then they have the big parade. It's on Saturday. And their parade is a long one. Hornell's got a long Main Street. I've marched in that parade several times in great weather as well as horrible weather with rain, sleet, and snow. A little bit of everything. The Four Seasons all in one parade. Yeah. But they have a very good group. They donate an awful lot to Steuben County. They have the same issues there with hunger and everything else. I think they sponsor some different teams in the Hornell area and so forth. So, good group of guys.
For the most part, almost anybody can join in some way or another, or at least help in some way or another.
Pretty much, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And for our events like the car show, we have sponsors that sponsor the trophies, and without them, we just wouldn't be able to do this. And we've increased the show. We give out a lot of trophies. People have a great time. All the motorheads, gearheads from the whole area of the state, northern Pennsylvania, show up. We have cars from New England as well as Ohio that show up. And we get a lot from Buffalo, Corning, Elmira, Jamestown. Last year, people drove through that monsoon to get to the show. It's amazing, driving a older Corvette or a Viper or something, and with slick tires in a rainstorm. I wouldn't want to do it, but we, from Shane Vogel down at Pizza King. Otis, Minnesota has been a great sponsor. Wellsville Brewing. We have tried and true sponsors all over, so it's great. And like Chris Roberts from Sile, Roberts Electric, he sponsors a couple trophies. Mark Bachman and his team at Bachman and Wellsville, they've been one of our main sponsors, right? And of course they used to have a car show there, and so that really took a lot of work from them. They're able to help donate to our show and make it successful and bring people into Wellsville, right? It's a good thing. We belong to the Chamber of Commerce. Bruce Thomas and his team will be marching again in the parade. And so our different events are on their website. So coming up. So, the goal is to try to promote Allegany County and our fine area of the southeast portion, right? The road bowling's in Andover, Whitesville, Independence. We have the car show as well as the shortest parade here in Wellsville. So it's all good bringing people in, and we bring them in from a lot of different states. So
well, let's get into it. Let's get into the shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, because there's some things that I definitely want to talk about, like how tough it is to get into Guinness, and just who came up with the idea, and go from there.
Okay. Well, there's lots of parades for St. Patrick's Day, right? Buffalo holds two of them. I think the Old First Ward has one. There's one downtown. One's on Saturday usually every year. The other's on Sunday. And those are big and long parades, right? Lots of floats, lots of organizations. Everybody marches. My wife and I, Marley, have been to the New York City St. Patrick's Day parade. That's like 7-8 miles, right? It goes all day. You can go into a pub, have lunch, come out, and the parade's still going. You didn't miss
like Thanksgiving Day parade.
It is. It just keeps going and going.
Doesn't Chicago have a big one too?
They do.
They color the whole river green, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Hopefully it's not naturally green like that. I don't know. But I think Savannah, Georgia has another big one there. There's a big Irish population there. Boston has them. We've been to the one in Dublin, Ireland. Marley and I went there, and that goes on all day, and it's a huge parade. It's pretty neat as it snakes its way through downtown Dublin, Ireland.
Cool.
That's sort of like a Holy Week in Ireland, so they celebrate the death of St. Patrick the whole week. So it's a pretty fun time over there. But those are all long parades. So we said Allegany County's never really had a St. Patrick's Day parade. We got so many Irish here. We're all going to Hornell, or we're going to New York City, or we're going to Buffalo. Why don't we hold our own parade? So, traditional parades are the whole length of Main Street, right? And they can be long, and a lot of times people just don't want to march, So we decided, I got thinking about, I'm a marketing guy, so I'm the guy, I guess, that came up with it. Why don't, what's the shortest parade? So you Google it, and Hot Springs, Arkansas is at 96 or 98 feet. That's the length of their parade. And they do a great job there. I mean, my hat goes off to them. So we got thinking, we got this intersection of Eaton Court, which is a village street in the village of Wellsville, as well as North Main Street, which is a village street. And why not have the huge distance between Wellsville Brewing, our microbrewery, and the only Irish shop in Allegany County, I think, Nancy Hart's from the Hart Shop. It's all of 12 feet. So the village is the
picture right here.
And they'll be able to see it on our Facebook page too. That was from last year. The village stripes out the road. I'm trying to get Mayor Shaler to maybe next time, if they have to put in a brick walkway there, go with a 12-foot wide green brick driveway, right? Have it permanent right there in town. So, but the village has been very supporting of us. Last year, Mayor Shaler and the trustees thought it was a great idea, and they're going to be marching again in the parade, along with the town officials, Shad Allsworth and the town officials. They've been supportive of all our fundraisers. So we decided to go with the shortest parade, and it's the shortest one in the world that we know of. That's why we're saying the world's shortest. Now we thought, okay, it's going to be easy to apply to Guinness Book of World Records, right? Either it's a record or it isn't, right?
Right.
But it's like, I believe, close to an $800 application fee.
And that's just to
apply to Guinness over in London. And we don't have that kind of money. We do have that kind of money, but do we donate it, really put it into Guinness, trying to get a 12-foot record in there, or do we donate it locally to a cancer fund or to the food banks or whatever, right? So all the members decided that we think it's better to keep the money locally, right?
Sure.
Rather than so it's 12 feet. And then Catherine Ross, who was at the last village board meeting where we got the permission and we had to buy insurance for it, because the village wants event insurance. So we got that through the Ryan Agency. I guess that's a Catholic group, right? The Ryans, right, Ryan family. But so I just said, do the math. It's 12 feet. So if somebody's got something lower than that, let them be the record holder, you know?
Right.
So the other good part about this is that, as we discussed, the weather can be brutally awful, or it can be really warm and nice, right? Or anything in between, or all those things. So if you've ever watched a parade through rain, sleet, and snow, if for an hour or two you think, man, I don't want to do this again.
Yep.
So we're having a shortest parade, both a short parade route. It's a short duration of time. It's going to bring people in around 4 o'clock or so, maybe 3:30 is when the crowd starts arriving on the block. And the parade will start this year at 4:45. It'll probably end close to 5 o'clock. I think 17 minutes last year. We may have a few more units this year. I probably won't know till right up till parade time, till 4 o'clock, who's actually really showing up.
Right.
But it'll be a fun time. I can guarantee that, rain or shine. It'll be a short parade. You won't be there all day. And the restaurants and the pubs and the Legion and the Elks are all going to be open. Better Days. Texas Hot, I know Demetrius is going to have corned beef and cabbage all day. They sold out early last year, so get there early, stay late. Latalia's got special things. The brewing.
They had a tent out. Latalia had a tent out selling food right on the street, right? Because you shut down that.
Main Street is shut down.
Yep.
Except for the parade route and for the parade participants to get in there. So it's safe, and the parade is a very slow-moving parade, but it doesn't take long to traverse the parade route, the 12 feet. So the merchants will be, Nancy Hart will keep her store open, I believe, later.
And she has a ton of, I was just in there, so she has a bunch of swag, light-up rings, necklaces, hats, everything.
She's got all the good stuff. They got those big Irish green hats. They look like a Dr. Seuss hat almost. But we hope she does very, very well. And I mean, and she's got great stuff in there year round, right? Yeah. You go in there for sweaters, whatever. She's got all the greatest stuff from Ireland. So the restaurants will be open late. It's a great family venue. You can come down with your family, have lunch, dinner. Stay the night at Microtel, right? Have breakfast the next morning, at the Modern Diner. Or,
the Han Homestead Inn also in Andover. Great bed and breakfast.
Barbie does a great job there.
Yeah.
So last year, I know the village was packed. So that was a great thing, right? To bring people in and just experience Allegany County and Wellsville, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a sea of green.
It is.
That drone shot was
it is.
I got was just all green.
It is. And you'll be having your drones there again this year?
Yeah. As long as it's not raining, the drone will be up.
The weather, Nick, I think is supposed to be better this year. Last year, Sister Alice was our grand marshal.
Yep.
And it was raining, as we all know, right up before it. We were all worried about it. Nothing we can do about the weather, though. It's just like being in Ireland. It rains. It's, you get sun and everything else. But right before the parade started, the weather broke. I think it was Sister Alice. So thank you, Sister Alice. We really appreciate it. And this year, she'll be marching with us as a Grand Marshal Emeritus.
Okay.
The Grand Marshal is Rosie O'Grady. Her middle name is Collins. I think she's a Collins from Hornell. That does get more Irish than that, right? Rosie Collins O'Grady. So we're glad to have her. And we'll be led by Steve Walker, of course, the local piper, and he's got Celtic heritage. Runs the Walker's Metalsmiths, an Irish store up to Andover. They're also one of our sponsors for the car show and all of that. So, and Steve's been big on promoting Irish heritage. He would actually be a great interview as well.
He was supposed to come on tomorrow, but my kids don't have school tomorrow. We didn't realize, so I had to reschedule. But he's coming on next week.
Awesome.
So he's going to be it's going to be 2 Irish episodes back to back.
He's a much better interview than me.
No. You both do. You both are great.
No, he's an Andover lad as well, right? A lot of great people from the village of Andover, but he knows his Irish history and Irish art history.
Yep.
And Scotty McRae, rest his soul, he's looking down on Steve, carrying the torch and all that. But Steve's a real artist. Mm-hmm. He really is. So anyway, the parade will be done probably by 5:15. We could start the parade a little bit late, I guess, depending what's there. But we always will have the Emerald Hook and Ladder Company in Wellsville. Yep. Kevin Schreiner is the president. Kevin will march with us, and he'll get a twofer out of it. Double back and be with his Emeralds.
He's going to have a long walk back.
He will. He will. I hope he can make it. He better be in shape, right?
12 feet, right?
Yeah, he better be in shape. And then the Emeralds fire truck will bring up the parade there. But a great time will be held by all. It's just something to celebrate being Irish, and on St. Patrick's Day or in the St. Patrick's Day timeframe, everybody is Irish, right? So they don't have to go to Buffalo or Rochester or Hornell. They can still do that, and I hope they do, but they can stay here locally and enjoy what Allegany County and Wellsville has to offer.
Yeah, last year was surprisingly fun, because when you hear world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, you think, what is that going to be? Is it going to be people hopping across the line? But I think the biggest thing was just the camaraderie there. Everybody was just like, how you doing? Having a great time. Kids were out running around the street because the street's closed off. And like you said, it's not as long as say the balloon rally parade, where it's usually excruciatingly hot.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to sit there. And like you said, the restaurants stay open. A lot of them have, Irish specials, whether it be Reuben's or boiled dinner or corned beef and cabbage. The brewery, of course, is open. Are they going to have a special brew this year, do you think, for it?
I think so. I think Tom has got some special formulas up there. They usually have a darker beer, more of a stout and a Scotch ale. And they'll have all kinds of malted beverages for different tastes, right?
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I can't remember. Is there, with the insurance that you got, is that open container so they can have it out on the street?
So the insurance covers the event.
Okay.
So if something bad happens or whatever, we're covered, right? And the village has to have that for all events now.
Sure.
So it's not just for us and our event, and that's that's a good law to have.
Yeah.
They are on the side of being conservative. The rest of the event is. The open container that was set by the village, so they waived that.
Yeah.
For that block and that whole section. I think the next section down on Main Street, and generally no one abused it last year. I don't think we'll have that. The village PD does a great job, but you don't have to see them, right? It's really a really great crowd.
Yeah.
And it's a crowd glad to get out after a long winter, right?
Right.
And to do something outdoors. Spring is coming. It's almost on us. Some days in February, it did seem like spring. Mm-hmm. So,
what a great way to kick off St. Patrick's Day weekend too.
Oh yeah,
because this is the kickoff for it.
It is. It's one of the earlier parades.
Yeah.
I've gotten a hold again of Michael Lewooten up at Channel 7 WKBW.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to send a crew down to do anything. They were going to do it last year. Michael had to go overseas, so they did a live Zoom interview, and I guess I was the interviewee, and so we were live during the 6 o'clock. I think it was the day before the parade, so we got a lot of good publicity out of that. They did a YouTube video. They published on that. Also, Spectrum News and a couple others I've gotten hold of. I haven't heard back from them, so they may be a few other.
Did you get a hold of Anderson?
I did.
All right.
He's supposed to be there, and of course Andrew Harris.
Yep.
We're going to get him a release on it. I'll have that to him tomorrow. And Andrew's been just great in promoting anything worthwhile here in the southern tier in the Wellsville area. So hat goes off to Andrew Harris and his team at the Wellsville Sun, the Hornell Sun, and the Keuka Sun. Without him, there's no news outlets hardly anymore, right?
Right. Especially not locally.
Yeah. Also, the good interview is Dave Snyder, runs the Alfred Sun newspaper. It's the only newspaper left in Allegany County. he's good on putting our stuff in his publication. And it's like a dying breed with those, right? But he runs a great newspaper. And it's really almost an all Allegheny County newspaper now.
Sure.
So it's great. People try to report on stuff local and help all the businesses local.
Now, you do have some swag as well, right?
We do. Dana Flam and I, she does the shirts and so forth. This is one of last year's shirts. Hopefully I won't bump the microphone.
No, you're fine.
On the shortest parade. She has a little different color green this year, and she also has a black shirt, I guess a short sleeve shirt, as well as long sleeve shirts and hoodies. So I think you can Google that, or if you go to our AOH Facebook page, there's links on there that my son Matthew has for Dana's business.
Okay.
She took an initial order.
So they won't be for sale there. So you have to pre-buy them, correct? Is that what you're saying?
She mainly likes the pre-bought ones. I think she might have 15 to 20 different popular sizes that she'll be selling near the brewery.
Sure.
There, and I think she'll take, if she gets enough orders, she'll be doing another run of those. But she has these are really high quality.
Exclusives.
They are. Dana does a great job, so our hats go off to her.
I feel like every year you need to have a T-shirt and have every single member that's there sign it and just hang them up wherever your meeting hall is. Or
maybe we should do that. Technically, we do sometimes meet at the brewery, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Wednesday nights, so we could do that. But she'll have long sleeve, short sleeve shirts. She'll have the hoodies, all of that. So look for Dana near the brewery. She'll be there. And if you go to our Facebook page, it's the www.facebook.com / in Wellsville AOH. That goes to our Facebook page. You scroll down. My son Matt's our sort of webmaster. He handles all that stuff. I'm not on Facebook, but he has the links to Dana.
Yeah.
So
who gave me your number? John Emser. Because I sent a message to Matt, but Matt's obviously a very busy guy.
He's been slammed with work, and so have I. And John Emser, of course, knows everybody living and not living in Allegheny County, right? I mean, he's been there and done that. And John's one of our key members, and he's going to be helping me on the lineup right before the parade. We'll be down there trying to get all the floats and the participants in order, right?
Definitely.
So we have some newer ones this year. Obviously we got the Emeralds. Steve Walker's going to be at the front end. Vicky Scott in the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 702 will start things off. They're our lead color guard, right, with the American flag, New York State flag. We will have, I believe, Emma McGleer will again sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, she was great last year.
Yep, she was. And we'll have her again. And she came from her waitressing duties across the street. I'll tell you, she's like the singing waitress.
Yeah.
So, and she when she was in high school, she used to sing before the basketball games, right? She was on the team. So it's awesome.
Now, what song is Steve going to be playing? Is there a specific song that you requested, or is he just going to be going off?
He's going to freelance it, I guess. Okay. I don't know. We don't give him a playlist, but he will be there. And if you have some favorites, I would get it to him if you see him.
I didn't know if there was like an Irish national anthem that he would be playing as he's marching, or is he just?
It's a long anthem. I don't know if he's going to do that, but there's a bunch.
Is it a long anthem?
There's a bunch of them. Yes. And don't ask me the words. I should know it, but I don't.
What are the words?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd get it for you so you can read it. But we're going to have the Shenanigan Sisters there again. They were there last year.
Oh, yep.
And they will get a twofer as well. It's some of our local celebrities and local famous people. They'll be dressed up, and so they will be towards the front of the parade behind the AOH.
I love how they changed their name for each different season.
Yes.
So there's Shenanigan Sisters. What are they in Halloween? Like the
Brew Witches?
The Brew Witches, yeah.
The names are changed to protect the innocent. That's all I'll say, right? And I won't mention that Julie Wilson heads them up, okay? I guess I mentioned your name, Julie. So, but they will be there, and then after their first act, they go through, they're going to peel off and head to the rear of the parade and be right ahead of the Emeralds. So, nice. So they're a crowd favorite, and I think they'll continue to grow in the future. We're trying to get some other new ones in. I'd like to get Lindsay Short and Short Oil.
Okay.
Short's Oil. Shortest parade, right? Short's Oil. So get one of their trucks there to participate. So hopefully they will be able to get a driver. Of course, they're still working that day, right? At the end of the day.
Did Texas Hot bring their 100-year cutout last year?
It's the TH Man. That's
TH Man. Yeah.
TH Man. Well, he was there last year.
Right.
Mike and his wife, Michelle, towed the TH Man, and he was in a bit of disrepair after a long winter last year, but they got him on a float, And I've talked to Demetrius, and Mike is not thinking he's going to be able to get him to the parade. So we've offered the AOH division to come up and help lift him because he's sort of big and bulky. He's pretty light. He's styrofoam, right?
Right.
But I don't know if Mike's got a trailer issue or what. But if we can get him there, Mike, we'd love to have him. So let us know. And the offer's been out. But hopefully, if not this year, we can get him back next year. So
now, how big? Because I'm just forecasting that this is going to become a more and more popular event. How big? Not necessarily size of the actual parade route, but how big do you think? Is there a cap that you'd want on this to keep the time down, or if as it grows, if more and more people want to attend, are you just going to allow them to attend? What's the future like for this if it continues to grow, which I think it will?
Well, hopefully it will grow.
Yep.
We want it to grow. I think last year we had 13 units in the parade.
Okay.
This year we're hoping for maybe 15 to 17, and I never know till right up. If we get the participants, they'll say we don't know. I'll call you the day of the parade, or so. And some people I have to call back 4 or 5 times, which is okay.
Yeah.
Because people are busy, right, and so forth. Last year we honored the Wellsville High School cheerleading. They won Section 5 and went to the states. Liz Hurley and her team. Mm-hmm. And so we gave them recognition. They marched, and they had their Section 5 trophy there. We had the Andover-Whitesville girls basketball team. They were a repeat champion for Class D basketball, had an awesome team. So Aaron Rawadi and Jake Bannerman brought their team on that. We were glad, and they were sort of last-minute additions. They didn't know if they could come or not. The Wellsville basketball team, Tom Muska, they won Section 5 last year in Class B, but they were not able to make it. So this year we've also extended it to Matt Burke and the girls softball team from Wellsville, the Lady Lions. Mm-hmm. They went to the state Final Four last year, won Sectional 5, went to the state championship, lost in the semis. And he returns everybody except one player. So we've invited the whole team there and the coaches to march in the parade. If they could take 20 minutes out from their practice schedule, come on over. We're trying to get the Wellsville High School band and or at least a drum corps. So I got emails and messages into Jeff Jocelyn there.
Yep.
But
Jeff, come on, man.
Last year they had conflicts with All County at Wellsville. So I said, well, can you bring the All County drum corps over? Have them march over. And march through and just march right back, right?
Yeah.
So we'd love to have them. It's a fun event, and there's no pressure on anybody. This year, I believe we're going to have a float or marchers or both from Belfast, New York, right? Belfast, town in Northern Ireland, everybody's heard of, right?
Yeah.
But they got a lot of Irish heritage up there, and just talked to Mary Paulson up there this morning, and she's in charge of their bicentennial events this summer. So they're going to come down, and I believe they'll have a float or a truck or whatever, just letting the crowd know, come to Belfast this summer, whatever the dates are for the bicentennial in beautiful Belfast, New York.
Okay, Mandy and Maria, Andover's bicentennial is also happening, so bring some people down from there.
I will have to get a hold of them as well.
Yeah.
So
I just did for you.
Okay. Well, I've got notes into Maria McCormick up at Jimmy Joyce up at Certified, to try to get them to come down and participate. So I'll be calling them here between now and the parade, right? To see what they can do. Mandy Phelps, she does a great job for the county, right? Yeah. And all of that, and she's helped support our car show as well. So it's just a great thing. So yeah, we'd love to have Andover down here as well. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of some of the others that we'll have. So
now, if you brought up that you want to, rather than spending the $800 to get the Guinness Book of World Records, you're keeping it locally, which is very commendable. But what if someone or a group of people even wanted to kind of sponsor that? Would you be welcome to, someone or a group sponsoring, just putting the application into the Guinness Book of World Records?
I think that we would. There's not a shortest parade category for one.
Right.
So at least what I could look at on their confusing website over in London. But I would say, yes, we would definitely consider it. But if there was, obviously, if there's some real needs, people needed food, whatever, obviously you'd want those resources to go to that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But absolutely, if somebody has some extra pocket change.
If someone just put the application in for them, then they wouldn't have a choice, right?
We could fill it out. They could put the donation in it and put the postage on it to go to London, England. So
yeah.
But Guinness does a good job. It's turned into a huge business, right? And they employ a lot of people, so they have a lot of overhead, right? Mm-hmm. So nothing against high overhead organizations. It's just you try to get those resources out to where it's best needed. So anyway, so that's a lot of things that we do here in Allegany County, and so this will kick off our events for the year, our 3 main events. We're not really making any money on the parade. We're sponsoring the parade because of Irish Heritage, so we're giving back to the community that way. And
now, will you have like if you don't, you should. We have a bucket out or a QR code that people can scan to donate or leave cash in if they prefer.
So far, we don't have that. We haven't really even thought of that. I suppose that's something we could do, but right now we just want the parade to go well, bring people into town. I mean, it's going to help the local merchants. They need a boost, right? The economy needs a boost.
Yeah.
Bruce Thomas is always trying to find ways to get people into downtown Wellsville to shop and dine and drink and all that. And so this is another great thing every year to get people to come in early and stay late.
Yeah.
Because it's a great place to live and visit if you're not a local.
A true community event.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, Nick. And you're a big part of it too, with all your coverage in the drones. Because
it's fun. It's fun.
I know. But you're a tech guy. You know how to do all this, right? We've had some different photos and stuff, but you do it the best.
I've been getting into a lot of VR and 360 stuff, so I'm going to have the 360 camera down there this year to be able to have a full 360 version of the shortest parade. So. Well, cool. I really, truly appreciate you coming on. I know it was kind of last minute. I think I called you late last week. Was like, hey, let's talk about this. And the most surprising thing to me was just how young Allegany County's division of AOH is. It just seems like you've been around for as long as the Lions in our area, which can attest to just how well your crew kind of organizes things and just does it. So. That was very surprising, but we appreciate you here. So if you're of Irish descent and Catholic, reach out to join, or if you're just at least of Irish descent, you can become a social member. And is there anything anything else that you'd like to say to the community before we sign off here?
Well, it's a whole great group of guys that we have, right? And this all started with Jerome Hart, and founding it, and we all try to serve. You got a lot of people that have served on a lot of committees, served at schools, in the community, different organizations that are in our AOH division. We try to do great charitable things. We don't have tons of resources, right? And it's all volunteer. So that's a key thing. But we try to make it fun. We try to have the family events. And just make Allegany County and Wellsville area a better place to live, And we hope everybody can come out to the shortest parade. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guarantee it. Even if it rains or snows, you'll have a great time.
Yep. Full family event. Bring everybody, right?
No, it really is. It really is. And, you got some great Irish roots here to interview. You're going to do Steve Walker. You can also do, as Andrew Harris calls, the Comstock twins, Annie and Jackie, but they're sisters. They're the Dwyer sisters that married Comstocks, right? So they do a lot of worthwhile things with genealogy, not just Irish, but everything here in Allegany County. And they have Irish roots, so they'd probably be a great interview.
Oh, definitely.
So you probably wouldn't get too many questions in, I'm sure. So they do all the talking. But they're very knowledgeable about Wellsville and Allegany County history.
Yeah.
And then you got Ron Taylor up to Andover. You get all kinds of great local people. So lots of good interview prospects here.
For sure. Well, Brian, thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely see you on the 15th.
Sounds good. And hopefully we can see you on road bowling. I guess you're going camping or something.
I'm going. It's a tradition.
So we'll have some live coverage feeds on Facebook and all that. You can follow us wherever you are. And then I think it's Saturday, September 7th, we're having the car show in Island Park.
Okay, so this next Friday, the 15th, 2024, if you're watching this at a later date, is the shortest Patrick's Day Parade. June 8th. June 8th is the Irish Road Bowling in Andover. And then September 6th, right?
September 7th.
September 7th is the car show. So
in Island Park. So it should be a great venue. And we've had a monsoon. We've had mostly great weather. So
yeah, I wasn't there last year, but every other year that I've been there, it was fantastic.
And you've done some great drone footage of us as well to see the cars beneath the trees. It's
all the colors
awesome.
pop in that green.
One thing you need to do, you need to publish a book, Nick.
Yeah.
You really do. Of all these images of Allegheny County. It's awesome. I mean,
One day.
No, really.
One day.
You could start now. You could get several volumes.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm looking forward to the parade, and we'll see you there.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for giving us a little bit of publicity here on this great event, and you really helped us last year get this thing off the ground. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have some celebrities join us, some politicians. Who knows?
If you get Bill Pullman to come down, that's what it's going to be.
Well, we'll try.
Yeah.
We'll try.
All right, Brian.
Sounds good. Sláinte, to your health.
Sláinte. We should have had some sort of shot. We got water.
I have water. There's no Jameson in here, but Sláinte, to your health.
Sláinte.